What's up, everybody? Welcome in another edition of Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson. We're coming to you Friday, January 26th. Not quite 12:30 Eastern. Before we get going, let's take care of some business as we want to recognize our great friends at Bet Online, which remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contest. NFL, UFC, NHL, NBA are in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to the BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that is promo code, all caps, BLEAV, and that'll give you a 50% welcome bonus at Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, I'm Brian. He is Jay. What is going on, Mr. Greeson?
Just finally happy to be out of the ice that had consumed the greater Southeastern Tennessee, North Georgia region. It's like 65 degrees outside, but rainy now. I mean,
that same here.
I mean, I don't really know. Well, if you want to go to like the Southeastern weather podcast, I guess you could go do that. What you got for me, brother?
All right. We start noon Eastern tomorrow. Two teams that are close to the bubble hate each other, more so in football. Talking about Georgia at Florida. I said when Georgia hired Mike White that I thought he'd do a good job. I thought he was better than most Florida fans gave him credit for. Florida fans were not going to be happy after the unfathomably super spoiled 17-year era tenure of the great Billy D. Look, Gators have won back-to-back games, 3 of their last 4 to improve to 3-3 in the SEC. Joe Lunardi's now got them in his next 4 out. In fact, the top team of that section, so 5, the 5th team out. But I've looked at some other bracketologists, and one of them, Bracketville Dave, that I like, doesn't even have the Gators in his next 4 out.
Do you walk into parties and say, "Hey, I'm Bracketville Dave"? I mean, how do you introduce yourself there? Hey, I'm Jay Greeson. I write for the newspaper in Chattanooga. What do you do? I'm Bracketville Dave. Really? No shit? Okay, great, Bracketville Dave. God bless you.
I think I'm just the one that calls him Bracketville Dave. In Bracket Dave's defense.
I mean, no, I'm not bagging on Bracketville Dave. I mean, but what if your main interest is porn? I mean, are you Pornville Lynn John? I mean, what do you do?
Pornville Bry. Okay.
Yeah, hey, I'm Pornville Brian. Okay, God bless America. There we go.
Let's not find out what Ron Jeremy calls himself. All right, so I wrote down Florida -6 yesterday. I saw Ken Palm had it -7, and then I saw an early line from FanDuel had Florida -7.5, which I think is a touch too many. I'm not saying I would play Georgia at 7.5, but that would be my lean. And I'll also note Georgia, they have won. Oh gosh, where'd my notes for Georgia go? Never mind.
4 of their last 5, 5 of their last 6, something like that.
No, it's 10 of their last 12, I think. But they are 3-1 straight up and 4-0 against the spread on the road. The only road loss at Kentucky, where they had a nice backdoor last week. So let's say it's Gators 7-ish to Georgia. Your thoughts?
Give me the Dogs. And you know what? I'm starting to believe in that team. I still think. I mean, if we're looking around the league, big picture, I think the league has 3 elite teams that are Final Four caliber. Even with Auburn and Kentucky's loss in road games this week, I think they're both top 10 teams in the country. And Tennessee guards at a level that they are a handful every night. I'll put Georgia right there with anybody because of how much they believe in themselves. I mean, I'm not saying they're the best basketball team in this league. I'm not saying they're even the fourth best basketball team in this league. But it's a special thing when a collection of kids start to believe and they play with each other and they play well with each other. And that's what Georgia's doing right now. And if Mike White, no kidding, can go get one out of every 3 5-stars in the city of Atlanta, Georgia's going to be a handful sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I just looked that stat up. It's actually 12-2 Georgia in their last 14 games. They had covered 5 in a row, but only beat LSU by 2 on Wednesday when they were favored by 4. But obviously playing well. And look, and that goes back to November 24th, okay? And the only losses in that stretch, Tennessee at home, where they led by, like, I want to say 11 with like 7 minutes left.
And didn't score in the last 3.5 minutes.
Right. And Kentucky had its A game on. Big Z was making his debut. Rupp was as electric as it's been all year, if not a couple of years, with the Big Z and the way they were playing last week. And but for Georgia backers, they made a big run and got a nice backdoor cover. But so, like, since November 24th, the only 2 teams to beat Georgia are Tennessee and Kentucky. And as Jay just discussed, those are 3 legit Final Four contenders. And before I go any further, by the way, and not that Joe Lunardi is Mr. Bracketology. There's a lot of great bracketologists out there. But I
like
did
Dave, like Bracket Dave, Bracketville Dave.
And I have Bracket Dave and Lunardi's for updated bracketology today and where they have the SEC teams. So Lunardi has, the Vols is a 2 seed, Auburn is a 3 seed, Kentucky and Bama as 4 seeds, A&M is an 8 seed, Gamecocks 9 seed, Mississippi State 10 seed, last 4 buys, avoid Dayton in the play-in, Gators next 4 out. All right, Bracket Dave has the Vols 2 seed, Auburn 4 seed. You don't like Bracketville Dave, do you? Kentucky 4 seed.
No. Bracket Dave's terrible.
He's got a seed line.
I mean, for God's sakes, his name
You're
is
on the
Bracket
outs.
Dave.
Yeah, you're on the outs. So Kentucky and Bama 4 seed. Yeah, South Carolina 9 seed, A&M 7 seed, Mississippi State last 4 in, facing Boise State and Dayton in the play-in. All right, Jay likes Georgia.
I like Georgia a lot, actually. And you going over Joey Brackets, Bracket Dave, Bracket Ted, Teddy Brackets, whoever else has got a bracket in somewhere in their brackets. Lamont Parrish could be the national coach of the year, right?
Took my money the other night.
Me and you both. I mean, I thought I was a catfish to chicken liver with Kentucky only laying like 4.5 or whatever it was. And South Carolina stomped a mud hole in them.
From start to finish.
Yes.
And we were on the wrong side from tip-off to the end.
Yeah, could turn that thing off 7 minutes in and go, hey, you know what? Hey, I lost the C note. God bless America. And just turn the TV off.
Yeah.
But Lamont Parrish is doing work. And I don't know how many people know this because when he was coaching in Chattanooga and I had a radio show up here, he would be a regular guest on our radio show. He does the best Morgan Freeman impression I've ever heard. I'm talking about, I mean, he goes into a whole like Shawshank soliloquy of, I guess it's fair to say I liked Andy Dufresne from the moment I saw him. And I'm going, holy buckets, man. It is perfect.
Yes. Yeah, he can coach big time.
Yeah.
That leads us into our next game. They're at 1 Eastern tomorrow. They're hosting Missouri. The Gamecocks 16-3 straight up, 14-5 ATS. They're 52 in KenPom. I mentioned how our bracket guys have them a 9 seed, both bracket. Anyway, I'm gonna quit saying bracket Dave, but anyway, Gamecocks 10-1 straight up, 7-4 against the spread at home. Mizzou struggle city 2-4 straight up, 3-3 ATS on the road, 8-11 overall, 5-14 ATS overall. They're struggling, and so I wrote down South Carolina -8. Ken Palm had it -9. So we can speculate it's going to be in that 8, 9, maybe 10 range. So with that being the case, it's kind of a letdown spot.
It is.
So I would be okay with South Carolina in a money line parlay if you got any other, but I don't think I'm going to lay. Maybe if it were 6 or less, I would lay it. But the letdown spot scares me. I think they win. What do you say?
I think you're spot on in almost every level. Hold on a second. I'm getting a call. It's somebody named Bracket something. It's a text. I'm sorry. It says, "Hey, tell Brian that I still love him." Dave, Bracketville Dave. So the only way you can play this is South Carolina, and it just depends on how confident you are. But it's such a letdown opportunity after the emotion that Kentucky brought to the venue. That place was rocking. A 1 o'clock early game.
Fans
Missouri,
not as into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the crowd's gonna be there because they're happy with what Lamont and the Gamecocks are doing, but it's not going to be the same environment. I mean, if you and I look up and it's 76-70 South Carolina at the end of this thing, nobody's
Sounds
shocked.
about right. Sounds about right. Yeah, and for what it's worth, at Tennessee and then at Georgia is on deck for the Gamecocks. All right, your boys in bounce back mode for the first time since what? Late November, early December with the App State game.
Yep.
They're at the hump. Mississippi State in bounce back mode. They have beaten Tennessee at home, but then they fell to Alabama at home, and then they lost at Kentucky, got right at home against Vandy, and lost at Florida. And Auburn has won 5 in a row in this rivalry, and 7 of the last 8, and is 3-1 against the spread, last 4 against the Bulldogs. And Auburn had won 11 games in a row by at least 11 points until losing to Bama. All right, Mississippi State 7-2 straight up, but only 3-5-1 ATS. Most of those non-covers were laying, big numbers to non-conference garbage teams pre-SEC. So I wrote down Auburn -4.5 yesterday. I saw Ken Palm had Auburn -4. Your thoughts, Mr. Greeson?
I think the bounce back here is going to be real. And Auburn, Alabama, one, it was a great atmosphere. It was a fun basketball game to watch. And I think Nate Oates is a punk. I think his team is filled with punks, but they play fast. They shoot it great, and they can play with anybody on any given night. Auburn's going to stomp a mud hole in Mississippi State on Saturday.
Ooh, okay. Greeson has rarely been wrong on his Auburn predictions this year. So, and Auburn is 12-5-2 against the spread this year. So,
and here's the thing. They are so deep, and they are a lot bigger than people know. I mean, with Broome, with Caldwell, with the waves of guys they bring, they're 10 deep. They've got 10 guys averaging more than 15 minutes a game. So that type of depth travels, and it travels with their style because they're going to play 94 feet. They're going to guard you from inbounding the basketball to underneath the rim. And you know what? Eventually that wears you down. Alabama played great. Alabama made a ton of shots, especially down the stretch, and made some free throws. And it happens. It happens in road games. This is a terrible spot for Mississippi State because Auburn's going to be ticked.
Yeah. I got a little cute. Alabama had extended its lead to 5 with like 6 minutes left. I took Auburn live plus 372 money line, and I'll be damned if y'all didn't tie it pretty dang quick. And so I was like, all right, Alabama's only minus 145 on the money line. Let me just lock in a little profit. And I risked $5 more than I had done on the money line play. So when Alabama won, I made $5, but I could have made a good little chunk.
Well, and Bracketville Dave wanted to congratulate you for making $5. So you're now one of the first four in. You and your $5 are one of the first four in Bracketville Dave's latest update.
The point is I was going to make a good chunk more than that with plus 372 would have hit, but we digress. All right, Kentucky at Arkansas. All right, so, and I know you have asked, like, if they quit on Muss. They're an auto fade when they're on the road. I'm not gonna say Arkansas is an auto fade at home yet because they have a great fan base and it'll be a great crowd tomorrow, and you know this might be a game where they step up. Okay, so I made Kentucky 7.5, and Ken Palm had it at 7. So let's assume 7-ish. Is that still because Kentucky's in the same spot as Auburn here?
They
bounce
are.
back mode after the road loss. Was that Kentucky's first? No, that was Kentucky's second SEC loss. So what are you thinking if it's Kentucky minus 7?
Well, Arkansas is the most
disappointing team in the country
in the league.
Probably, or the country maybe.
Maybe in the country. I mean,
them in Miami.
They were preseason top 15 nationally, and a lot of people thought
Final Four
right there with anybody as the SEC favorite.
Yeah.
And you look up, and which it's so difficult to gauge. If anybody but Kentucky was going to Arkansas, I'd go against the Hogs. But Kentucky gets everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody's. So no matter where they are, whether your team is good or not, when Kentucky goes on the road, they get the place is sold out, whether it's Oxford, Columbia, College Station, Knoxville, Auburn, Nashville. It doesn't matter.
Hogtown, House of Horrors,
and I mean, so everybody turns out. I mean, I really there are more SEC games I like better than this one because I could see either team winning, and I could certainly see Kentucky gets up 32-10 and the whole place goes quiet and they completely quit on Musselman.
Yeah, Arkansas is going to be very interesting to watch down the stretch. I mean, sometimes these transfer groups gel, and really, I think maybe this is the first time. I mean, not just at Arkansas where he's had incredible success after just decades of mediocrity at a proud program, you know, ever since Nolan got shown the door. And but I was going to say Musselman, he gets a lot of transfers, but even going back to his Nevada days, he was doing it like that. And it's always worked. It's not working this year. So it'll be interesting to watch how this whole thing plays out the rest of the way. Because you
mentioned Nolan Richardson. Did I ever tell you? All right, when I was at Auburn, our basketball team was kind of crap. I mean, Wesley Person was a good player. We had Ronnie Battle. We had Reggie Gallen. There were white dudes who were about my size who got on the floor.
You were a little behind John Kaler because John Kaler is the guy I really liked in the late 80s. You remember him?
Yeah. If you didn't like him, he'd punch you in the face. I had a beer with John Kaler at the supper club. That dude
I saw him and Shaq get into it in Orlando in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to fight Shaq, God bless you. But anywho, speaking of you want to fight Shaq, God bless you. So in the early to mid 90s, we led like what we were trying to create a student section at Auburn basketball games. And I would sit on the front row next to the opposing bench underneath the basket at Old Beardy's Memorial Coliseum, and it was terrible. It was an awful, 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 awful venue.
I've been there, 2-0. I'm 2-0 there.
Well, Corliss Williamson wanted to fight me, and he was going to kill me.
The big nasty!
The big nasty! Auburn beat #1 Nebraska, and your boy Al Dillard and Scotty Thurman and all those dudes. What a great team that was. Well, I was a pro heckler. I was a professional heckler. And you don't ever cuss. But you got to make certain you do your homework. And I got in Corliss's ear. And the game was over, and the entire place stormed the court. Corliss was looking for me, and he would have squashed me like a grape. I'm talking about I've been scared a couple of times because I've done stupid stuff that maybe makes my wife mad. I've never been scared like that. I really thought Corliss was going to break me. I mean, he was Ivan Drago. I mean, he was.
And in a big old mash of people, he could probably gotten away with whatever he wanted.
Yes,
Camera
of course he could have. And then blamed it on, well, they stormed the court. What the hell are they doing on the floor?
I was assaulted first. It was self-defense.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Corliss, if there's a random shot you're listening, you're more than welcome to come on Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson. B, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. And I live in Chattanooga, around Chattanooga, but
I'm not giving you my address.
No, I don't want you showing up in my driveway.
I actually saw he's an assistant in the NBA for somebody. I actually saw a little clip of him recently. Anyhow, all right, Tennessee Vandy mismatch of the day. Okay, I think the Vols are getting a little too much respect here. They did lose outright at Vandy. I have it 12. Ken Pom has it 7-flipping-teen. Now, Vandy played Bama close on the road. Vandy beat Tennessee at this venue last year. Vandy played Alabama close when Bama was on the road. You know what I meant. Sorry. I think it's too many points. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to be like my best play of the day is on sorry Vandy, but I'll probably be on them a little bit.
I can see that. But good gravy, man. 17 is going to be one of those numbers that you look up and go, all right, what did Vegas know that we didn't when they win by 36? Because, half the building is going to be orange. You need to know that.
I do know that. 100%. I know
this is a different, quote unquote, road game than any other in the league.
Yeah. So I want to point out the total because did I not write down the total? Oh, here, I can get it right here. Okay, so the reason why I want to point out the total is because the under is cashed in 3 straight for Vandy and it's on a 10-2 run, and it's to improve to 12-5-1 overall. So if Ken Pom's right, the total should be around 143. I'm just pointing out the stats. I'm not saying that I'm definitely gonna, be on that under. I was just pointing out those numbers.
I actually like the under for a couple of reasons. One, Tennessee guards as well as anybody in America, and offensively, unless Dalton Connect is lighting it up, they can get constipated at times offensively.
And a lot of teams struggle to shoot in that gym. Everything's different in that gym. All right, let's move on. LSU at Bama. It's that other one that I mentioned. I think it's a little much. I had Bama 10. Or no, I'm sorry, I had Bama 11, and Ken Pom has them 14 with a total of 164. LSU 1-3 straight up, 2-2 against the spread on the road. One of their players, Tyrell Ward, is questionable. He has scored in double figures in 3 in a row, and Alabama's won 7 of the last 8 against LSU in this rivalry, going 5-3 ATS. Bama is 9-1 straight up, 7-2-1 against the spread at home. Maybe a little letdown for Bama. Let me see who they got look ahead wise. On deck for Bama at Georgia, so I'm not going to call it a sandwich spot, but a little bit of a letdown here and laying a big number. I'm not saying I'm going to be on LSU. I will just call it a ever so slight lean if it is literally actually, I might if it's 14, I might be on LSU. What you think?
This is a game that I would lean towards the over, but just because they both play fast and they want to play fast, which then becomes a cycle of how they go against each other. But you're right. It is just like we talked about with South Carolina. This is a real scary spot numbers wise. Do I think Alabama wins? Yeah, because LSU's bad. But after the emotion of beating Auburn and what happened the other night, any win's a good win in this spot. So laying 14, I would be with you if it does get as if 14 is the number that pops up there. But I also think both of these teams are going to play fast.
All right. Ole Miss at A&M. I had Ole Miss against Arkansas the other night. A&M is now 12-7 straight up, 9-10 ATS, 7-2 straight up, but only 3-6 ATS at home. Ole Miss 16-3 overall, 10-9 ATS on the road. They're only 2-3 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. So I made A&M 5. Ken Palm has it at 6 with a total of 144. Excuse me. I would be okay with A&M in a money line parlay, which, you could have South Carolina in it if you wanted.
Bama.
You could have Bama in it. I don't know if that would really help your odds much, but I do think Bama wins.
Well, and you could find with our friends
Bet Online,
and you could probably even you'd have to pay some juice, but tease it down to like Bama -6, and
they do less points on teasers in basketball than football.
Okay.
Some books do. I don't do teasers in basketball because they don't give you as many points.
Right.
So, but I get where you were saying. Like, even if they only gave a 4-point teaser, A&M could be a good teaser team. But I just don't do teasers in hoops. But I'm gonna be okay with A&M in a money line parlay with South Carolina. And I don't know. I'm a little scared of Auburn, Mississippi State. Maybe Kentucky in the money line parlay, and maybe Bama, and that might get you to like plus 150 or plus 200. Maybe I'd have to put it in the parlay calculator. Anyway, do you have thoughts on the line? Let's assume it's A&M in that 5-6 range. Nope.
I don't know if either one of these teams are good or bad.
Right.
And I don't know which version shows up of either one of these teams. And I mean, you were talking about your buddy Billy Bracketology or whatever his name was, and both of these teams are trying to fight for their postseason position, and in some ways, lives. I mean, A&M is outside right now. Ole Miss is. What'd you say they were 16-3?
No. A&M is inside. Ole Miss is outside because they don't have many legit wins. Let's see.
Did you hear the stat the other night? Auburn does not have a quad 1 win.
I also read that they are 5-18 in their last 23 quad 1 games. Like, I'm going back maybe 3 years, which surprised me. It's not like y'all aren't trying to schedule good. I mean, it's not your fault that Notre Dame sucks this year, or that Vatech's not that good, or that Indiana sucks, that USC sucks. I mean, you played name programs. Indiana and USC are supposed to be good. So is Notre Dame. You did play Baylor. So it's not like you played a
No,
soft
no. I mean,
schedule.
it was shocking and kind of a testament to how many quad one teams are in the league in the SEC?
Well, and I'm not like 100% familiar with it, but like there's some like if you go on the road, it's
Yeah,
considered a quad one against a
it,
team who might not be a quad one at home or
it's
what?
top 75 in some ranking if you win on the road, and top
Okay, is that how it
50
is? Oh, that sounds right.
if you win at home.
Gotcha.
Is if you play them at home, those count as quad one wins. So, I mean,
Well, don't worry. You got plenty coming up. Okay. You got Bama again at home February 7th. At Florida would be quad one because it's on the road.
hey, the right around that Valentine's Day, you know who has two thumbs and is angling to get to the Kentucky Auburn game in Auburn? This guy.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's right.